leaving and why others are not coming. You know, issues that my colleagues at New Europeans, who are here as well, have been working on and actually sampling in research, is that when it comes to those who are already in the UK, there is the prolonged uncertainty of not knowing what your future rights and status will be, including in relation to family reunion. When it comes to people who are arriving in the UK now, given that the UK government refuses to clarify what the quote-unquote cut-off date is, as I said earlier, implying that it may be earlier than exit day, then if you're a nurse and you're thinking, should I apply and go to Denmark or should I come to the UK now? The UK is not telling you whether your rights will be guaranteed after Brexit, even if those rights of those who've come before the cut-off date will be guaranteed. So I think these are relevant and important explanations for why we see what we've seen, in addition to all of the other issues that I agree with. Obviously, an environment where there's increased xenophobia is not necessarily hospitable to people, and certainly people who speak accents that are kind of recognizable in the street after many years, as many would. Now, your fundamental point was about the protection of rights, and I think on that, the United Kingdom, I should say, all European Union members are members of the Council of Europe. As people here will know, the Council of Europe has a convention, the European Convention of Human Rights. That convention has a standard that all countries have supposed to abide by, and in the United Kingdom, under a Labour government, but continued at the government since. The European Convention of Human Rights is part of UK law through the Human Rights Act. And that is significant because it means there are important rights that relate to the status of EU27 citizens, which are guaranteed under the Convention. Most notably, Article 8 of the Convention, we talk specifically about the right to private and family life. And there are important lessons to be learned for the United Kingdom in trying to negotiate away rights on the EU level, because often that will come back and haunt the government through, as it were, the back door of the European Convention. It's not imprudent to remind here that actually for many people in government, or in the current government, it was the European Court of Human Rights that was the bigger fish to fry, as it were, including the Prime Minister, who before the referendum campaigned to remain in the EU but leave the European Convention. At least she's on record saying that. And I think it's not in any way intended to comfort EU27 citizens to say that there is that base layer of protection under the Convention. It is right that EU27 citizens demand that the level of protection they receive would include protections that are granted to them pursuant to EU treaties. But it is equally, I think, right to say that it wouldn't be up to Parliament to just legislate away rights of individuals if pieces of legislation would be incompatible with the European Convention. They will be declared as such by UK courts, and there will be cases in Strasbourg, and those cases could be decided against the United Kingdom. And by and large, the United Kingdom wishes to abide by judgments of the Strasbourg court.
Can I just comment on the issue of the ECHR, the convention? I think actually I wouldn't be 100% sure that the position of the government will be forever to want to stay within the convention. I mean, Theresa May made the definitive statement that it was divisive at this stage. But the position of the Conservative Party in government is it will only be the case for this Parliament and will be reviewed before the next general election. And I do fear that if there is a judgment after Brexit in the next couple of years from the Strasbourg court, it will result in an awful lot of confusion and anger in the Daily Mail, saying, "I thought we'd left Europe. What's this all about?" Because as you appreciated, for most people, Europe is all about prisoners' votes and the non-deportation of terrorists. and they blame that on the European Union, and the Daily Mail deliberately conflates the two. So I am quite concerned that if this happens and there is a judgment after Brexit, as you say, against the United Kingdom government, there will be a groundswell of right-wing anger, and that the government will be probably forced, and my party, to have a policy of withdrawing from the convention. That's
I agree with all of that. Perfect.
Thank you.